part 2. And here I am, forced to look behind the curtain of my past, and I don't like it. I don't want to, but I'm going to. Because we started a process and I have to finish it. Okay. I remember I have had always a very protective nature, being the oldest of 12 over my brothers and sisters. Some more particular and more severely, I would say, than others, because I always fought for the underdog. And whatever brother or sister was the underdog at the time, I was for them. And a lot of times the underdog happened to be actually my mom, taking a lot of the brunt of emotional, sometimes physical abuse, but a lot of it was emotional and mental abuse. And then us children, we got the physical abuse, I think because we were small and it was easier to hit us or something. So, anyway, but I always felt particular about Aline, because if you ever saw Aline when we were young, he looked like a porcelain doll. And I'm not kidding. His skin was so white and transparent, and he just looked like if you blew on him, he would, fall apart. He grew up to be quite strong physically and mentally and emotionally. And I think that facade of fragility worked for his benefit, because I think he was strong from the beginning. And he had to be strong from the beginning. But the look, his features were so... he really looked like a porcelain doll. That's the best description, I guess, I can give to Aline. Just very, very white, translucent, with, 2 brown eyes and dark hair. It looked like a doll, and I just, something inside my brain just wanted to protect him and be on his side, even though he had a very stubborn and obnoxious kind of personality when he was a child, but I loved him. It didn't bother me, I loved him anyway. And it didn't really affect, I guess, our relationship. So, the one that broke something within me is Yosef. My brother Yosef, and I'm not sure in line which one it is, and that reminds me, I'll put at the beginning everybody's names and in order of our birth, so it kind of gives you an idea. I didn't do that yet, but I will do that soon. But my brother Yosef, I don't know why, but man, I got hooked to my brother Yosef as a mother. And I felt something special about him. And it was his sweet personality. And because he would I would go to school, because I was in school and he was young, he stayed at home. And I would come back from school and I would have to immediately feed them. I didn't even take my uniform off, and I would come in and everybody would come, their little faces would come to me and they were hungry, and I would have to feed them. I would take this big bowl of soup and I would put them in front of me on little chairs and feed them, one spoon of soup with bread, would put bread in the soup and feed them like that. But I remember I would ask Yosef, did you eat? And he's like, no. And I'm like, why didn't you ask mom to feed you? Well, I don't know. And I would say, well, are you hungry? Do you want to eat? And he's like, well, if it's not inconvenient for you. And that, even now I get shivers. It's like my skin just raises up. And that broke everything within me, because I thought, oh my gosh, you don't want to inconvenience us for small, not small, but basic things like you're hungry or you're thirsty or I don't know, just basic things. And that was Yosef, and I felt like I really had to stand up for him, and I'm gonna try not to cry. But I felt like I really had to stand up for him. And when I heard him cry as I was coming back from school, because he was being beaten, it was not being spanked, he was being beaten by my dad, that broke something within me, and I immediately just rushed home. And that was the first time when I began, and I stood between, literally, I put myself between my father and the one that was being abused at the time. And he was able to do that. He just broke something within me. And I was able, up to that point, I had the fear of me being hit. But with him, that broke away, and I didn't care. I didn't care at that point if I was in pain or not. I didn't care. It was worth it. So that being said, that's how it started, you know, for me to kind of be a barrier, you know, of protection in between my brothers and my father. So I'm going to wrap it up here, and we'll come back with next chapter, but please don't be discouraged. The book is hard. I know that. I lived it. I know that. It's hard, but there's also beauty. Beauty of love, that you're willing to take pain for others. Beauty of the strength that you can find within yourself to stand up to something that you see that is wrong, that's happening to somebody that you love. And I think what hurt me over the years more than anything psychologically, that took me forever to get over, is not the fact that I myself got hurt or spanked, beaten, slapped. We got slapped around, you know, around, or hit, and, you know, with punches and the, you know, the head a lot, or taken the head and smacked in the walls, you know, stuff like that. It wasn't that. It was me witnessing my brothers and sisters getting, you know, that treatment, because I loved them so much that hurt more than if I were getting hurt. And I think, isn't that how it is? You know, just how I feel like Satan works, where it just goes after the people you love the most. And that messes you up. And then you have to put yourself back together. Or stand up. Stand up to it. And I chose to stand up to it. So this is it for today. We'll come back with the next chapter. Have a good day. Bye-bye.